Okay, so with 28, and of course on your test, like I just told you, 28, 29, 30, right? You're going to have some problems that push this limit. I might even go to 33, because then that would be 3 points per problem, right? That'd be nice. Let's do that. So, because I really need you guys to understand these 30, 60, 90 problems, okay? So, the one thing you need, absolutely need, is the x, the 2x, sorry, and the x square root 3, okay? The other one you need is the 45, 45, which is the x, x, and x square root 2. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is I'll make up a couple others while we're doing this one. Okay? So the negative 30 just has to deal with the fact that it still works with the whole opposite adjacent stuff, right? So we know that the opposite is here, right? The adjacent is here, and this is the hypotenuse. And again, because this is a unit circle, the hypotenuse is always 1, right? It's always going to be 1, okay? But the adjacent and the opposite depend on where it's at. If it's over here, 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 here. Now in this case, the adjacent is positive, right? Because we're talking about a triangle that looks like this, right? This is 30 degrees. That means this is 60. That means if I were to flip this blue one so that it looks like this, right? Then the x would be here, the 2x would be here, and the x square root 3 would be here. Now I know this is 1, right? What I need to know is what's this and this. Well, this is always half of the hypotenuse, right? So, this is going to be 0.5. And so this length, but, because it's going down, it's going to be negative 0.5. Okay? And this is going to be 0.5 square root 3. Okay? And so, now we know what our positions are. We go adjacent is 0.5 square root 3, and our opposite is going to be negative 0.5, right? And so now we just do what tangent is. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? So tangent is negative 0.5 over 0.5 square root 3. Now in this case, the 0.5s cancel each other out, right? So we have negative 1 over the square root of 3. But we can't have the square root of 3 in the bottom. So, square root 3, and we get negative square root 3 over 3. And that's what the tangent of negative 30 is. So the tangent of negative 30 is equal to negative square root 3 over 3. And that's doing it without a calculator. Okay? So if I were to give you another problem, okay? let's say we talk about this problem, right? Or this problem. They're both the same problem, right? Either one of those, if this is 30, right, then this is 60, right? Okay? So, no matter where we're going, we're talking about a 30, 60, 90 triangle that looks like this. 60, 30, 90, right? We use our blue diagram
what bracket is it?
where we have our x, 2x, and x square root 3. Okay? And now I know that if this is 1, which it always is 1 in a unit circle, right? Then this side has to be 0.5, and this side has to be 0.5 square root 3. Now, what do you want to find? You want to find sine, cosine, cosecant, secant. You tell me. Cosecant? Okay. So we want to find cosecant of, and let's say it's the negative 360 plus 180 is 540 plus 60 is 600, or 600, right? So negative 600, which is the same as 90 plus 30, which is 120. Either one of those is going to be the same. Does that make sense? Okay? And the way we're looking at this problem is that this guy is negative. This is negative 0.5, right? But this is positive. So this is positive point. Does that make sense? And so now we're going to write out the hypotenuse, the adjacent, and the opposite. Okay? The hypotenuse is 1. The adjacent is negative 0.5. And the opposite is 0.5 square root 3. Okay? And since we wanted cosecant, co's a hoe, right? So that's going to be h over o. So that's going to be 1 over 1/2 square root 3. Now, that's a funky one, right? Because now we're talking about 1 divided by 1/2, right? Or the square root of 3 over 2, which means 1 times 2 over the square root of 3, right? Which is 2 over the square root of 3. And by now, you guys should be able to go, oh, square root of 3, square root of 3, which means it's 2 square roots of 3 over 3. Right? Now, was one of those negative? No, because this one was negative, right? So that's a positive. So, the cosecant of negative 600 or 120, either one is equal to 2 square roots of 3 over 3. And that's